quarter.
Just 1 of 7 from 3 in that first half. Here's El Alfi putting it on the deck, bouncing it out. Chen attacks the closeout. Her leaner is short. Rebound, Pow Pow. Pushing pace for South Carolina with Connecticut back. Pow Pow as it wrestled out of bounds by Beckers. It'll stay with the Gamecocks.
It's a rare opportunity for South Carolina to try.
Just 4 fast break points for Connecticut in the first half. Hitz unable to hit the 3. Rebound loose, scooped up by Beckers. South Carolina with just 1 fast break point in that first half. Fudd can't lay it in, but gets fouled by Bree Hall. And free throws here for AZ Fudd. Fudd, who was significantly under the weather in 2022 in the national championship game, really struggled against South Carolina. Played just 16 minutes, was 1 of 3 from the floor, had just 3 points, but bouncing back in a big way today. For a little more on AZ Fudd, let's send things over to Holly.
Well, AZ Fudd has been building towards this moment for all of her life, thanks to her mom, Katie, who had a pretty creative way to get her to develop that left hand. The saran wrap across the right, a little skill development, make sure you're good with both sides. I just love that. Her mom has poured so much into her, and her dad, Tim Fudd, lots of work with AZ in the offseason, and there she was as a little girl. That was the cutest picture I think I've ever seen.
I mean, Holly, when she told us the story, we thought she was talking about like 12-year-old AZ. No, not 2-year-old working on the left hand as Kids able to finish through some contact.
Ryan, UConn's guard defense has been so good out on the perimeter. South Carolina has to rely on their bigs to create looks like you just saw from Chloe Kitts, like we saw in the first half from Joyce Edwards, what we saw in the semifinal matchup against Texas.
Here's Beckers giving it up. Fudd already with 15. Can't get that to drop in. Hits the rebound. Here comes Pow Pow. Pow Pow. Off to Hall, lob it in. Edwards quickly in off the bench, and a foul is going to go against UConn. It'll be on AZ Fudd, her second. Talk about how tough that Connecticut defense is.
I mean, just so many contested shots for South Carolina, and they were about 50% on the uncontested ones. There just weren't enough of them.
Here's Pow Pow. Dipping inside, throwing it out of bounds as South Carolina turns it over.
Can we revisit the saran wrap for a second?
We can,
you
absolutely.
and I are both parents. We know that there is a multitude of uses for saran wrap. I did not know until we saw that picture and heard that story that that was one of them.
Does that keep toddlers in bed through the night?
You let me know.
Maybe an NIL deal with saran wrap coming for AZ Fudd. Here's Fudd. Pivoting, dishing. Chen will fire, way off. And the rebound to Fudd, another chance for UConn. Fudd on the drive, floats it in. AZ Fudd with 17.
There was only so much Joyce Edwards could do because she has her 2 fouls.
The big 3 has it humming for UConn. Fudd strips it. 3-on-2. Chen all the way in, can't finish. Good contest there from Raven Johnson. On the other end, Hall, they need it. Don't have it. South Carolina 2 for 10 from 3. Connecticut just 1 for 8. And that was the #1 key for Dawn Staley, keeping Connecticut out of transition and limiting their 3s. South Carolina has done that. Chen can't get that one either.
South Carolina's done what they need to do on the defensive end of the floor. It's been their struggle to score that's been the problem.
And Becker's going to pick up a foul there. That'll be the first on Paige Beckers. Hey, the 2025 Men's Frozen Four begins Thursday at 5 and 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Pow Pow, Tessa Johnson, Chloe Kitts, Raven Johnson, and Joyce Edwards, the 5 for South Carolina. Beckers strong, El Alfi, Fudd, and Shade for UConn. And that's going to be a foul here against Connecticut. And we'll see who they give it to. If it's El Alfie, it is her third. And it is number 3 on Jana El Alfie. Significant because we have not seen Connecticut go small with Strong at the 5 much in this game. Here's Kitts, shouldering in. Kitts gets another whistle against El Alfie, and that is going to be her 4th. So back-to-back fouls on Jana El Alfie, and now she'll have to check out. El Alfie.
No, El Alfie doesn't provide a lot in terms of scoring on the offensive end, but she is a big physical presence who had a great semifinal game against UCLA and Lauren Betts.
See longtime assistant Chris Daly coaching Jana El Alfie through this. El Alfie's parents made the trip from Egypt, saw maybe her best game of the year in the semifinals in that win against UCLA. Meanwhile, Malaysia Fulwiley, can she provide something in this second half? You talked about it before, Rebecca. She can change a game in a 3-minute stretch. Was held scoreless in the first half. The SEC 6th Woman of the Year.
Ooh, Edward lost a shoe.
Strong, soft touch for Sarah Strong. And the freshman with another double-double.
That might normally have been Joyce Edwards' help and double inside, but she had to get her shoe.
Tessa Johnson can't finish it. Rebound Fudd on the weak side. 13-point Connecticut lead. Fudd, what a move. AZ Fudd all the way in. Danger time for South Carolina. And a whistle gonna go against Ice Brady. And that'll put South Carolina at the line with Connecticut already over the limit.
AZ Fudd, throughout the course of her career, known for her pure jump shot. She has added a real shiftiness to her game, attacking the rim.
Said she had a conversation with Gino Auriemma where Gino said, it just feels like if you leave, you're always gonna think, I didn't get to accomplish everything I could in a Connecticut jersey. She agreed and decided to come back, a collegiate career that up till this season has been besieged by injury.
And a young woman who also loves the school part of it. She graduated in 3 years, taking grad courses since then. She still enjoys the daily grind of going to class in addition to basketball.
Holly?
And it's remarkable that she feels that way about the school because she's been through so much. She has been out for much of almost a year and a half with knee injury, having to fight her way back to the court. She went 728 days without being able to play in an NCAA tournament game, but not today. She is not going to be denied, even though she was delayed.
Spot on, Holly. 21 from Fudd now. And South Carolina take advantage with Connecticut over the limit. Fagan bodying in. Nice move from Sanaya Fagan, who's really had a terrific senior season for the Gamecocks. Dawn Staley has told us many times she's the most important player to have on the floor for her team because of her communication. Strong and easy too.
Two-man game with AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong puts so much pressure on the defense because Fudd, with the way she's scoring, if you send 2 to her, you get the easy delivery to Strong on the roll.
Pow, pocket feed, Edwards. Strong finish from the freshman.
And same thing on this end that time with Pow and Joyce Edwards. Great two-man game.
Beckers gets fouled, and Paige Beckers will go to the line to shoot a pair. Will step aside. 4:26 to go in the third. UConn. Paige Beckers at the line. Sinks the first.
I mean, when you look at that big three, Paige Beckers will be the #1 draft pick this year. When Sarah Strong comes out, she'll most likely be the #1 draft pick. AZ Fudd next year, it's interesting to see where she will go. Most likely a lottery pick. I mean, that's the level of talent we're talking about with those 3 players.
They might play that clip back in a few years. 15-point UConn lead. Can South Carolina make a push? Fulwiley is in. Knocked away by Beckers. Edwards has it stripped by Strong. Again, good hands from Sarah Strong. And the Connecticut defense has just been fantastic thus far in this game.
This is a UConn team, because of how they score points, get so much credit and attention on their offense. They are terrific defensively. On ball and help side. Something they work on every day.
Here's Pow Pow, giving it up for Wiley. Can't get it to drop, gets it back. Another chance for Malaysia. For Wiley, runner is good. Does that unlock Malaysia for Wiley, who can get hot in a hurry? We saw it in that game against Maryland. Struggled early, was taken out. Colette Law, the assistant for Dawn Staley, told her, give Malaysia one more chance. A story told to us by our colleague Carolyn Peck.
Confidence to finally see one go through.
For Wiley knocks it away. He can be that kind of disruptive defender as well. For Wiley leads the break, and Fagan lays it in. And a timeout taken by Connecticut. Gino Auriemma doesn't want this run to simmer for South Carolina. Malaysia for Wiley starting to plug in the electricity.
Incredible amount of trust between those two women.
3:10 to go in the third. Strong fakes the three, gives it up in the corner. Fudd, you bet! Daisy Fudd is on fire. 24.
What an answer. And you can use your four-player as the facilitator to get the pass to Azzi.
That's going to be the second foul on Strong, and free throws here for Joyce Edwards. And you can see Dawn Staley upset with what happened on that previous trip down the floor.
You don't help off the strong side corner.
Just the second three of the game that UConn has hit as Edwards misses the free throw. South Carolina now 7 of 11 from the line. South Carolina looking for a second straight title in a third in 4 years, a fourth overall in the last decade. Connecticut seeking a 12th title and their first since 2016. Strong's three is good.
Joyce Edwards was right there. She was right there with a hand in the face.
Now UConn has the long ball working. Edwards spinning, gets denied. Kitts working the interior, dives in, couldn't finesse it home.
UConn with their small lineup now, which had put Paige Beckers on Chloe Kitts defensively.
Arnold wheels back out. Fudd fakes the three, gives it up. Shade attacking, laying, couldn't finish it. Beckers the rebound. Underneath, Beckers gets the whistle.
Building that momentum that if they could come out, get a couple stops and scores, they could cut this to single digits. Instead, the lead has ballooned for Connecticut.
Yeah, South Carolina had scored 4 straight. They were starting to get full Wiley going. And out of that timeout, back-to-back threes, and now these free throws from Beckers. The UConn big three, 100 points in the NCAA tournament. First trio since 2009, a pretty good one for Connecticut. Maya Moore, Tina Charles, Renee Montgomery. Raven Johnson muscling in. Johnson fading, a lot of contact, no call. Rebound gathered by Beckers, and then she is fouled.
But Ryan, that is not a recipe for success offensively for South Carolina. For Raven Johnson to be going one-on-one and backing down, but that's what they've been left with because of how good UConn's perimeter defense has been.
We've had so many coaches throughout this season talk to us about, everybody always likes to comment on the fluidity of Connecticut's offense. It's their defense that's so impactful. We have seen it here today, just like we did against UCLA. Arnold gets denied, but fouled. And that'll be number 3 on Edwards. Free throws here for KK Arnold.
UConn in its small lineup. That leaves Joyce Edwards defending on the perimeter, defending a guard, and that time KK Arnold recognized that she had that quickness advantage. Now South Carolina going a little bit smaller to match UConn's lineup.
Well, the 29th annual WNBA draft, Monday, April 14th on ESPN and the app. The Dallas Wings have the first pick, followed by the Seattle Storm with the second. Washington Mystics have the 3rd and 4th. Our coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Beckers unable to hit the 3. Paige Beckers, the presumptive number 1 overall pick. Where will Bree Hall, Sanaya Fagan land in that draft? Maybe Tessa Johnson hasn't, maybe Raven Johnson hasn't said yet whether or not she'll be back for another year at South Carolina. As Strong picks up her 3rd. Here is our current mock draft now that Olivia Miles, the Notre Dame point guard, chose the transfer portal rather than the WNBA, was the projected number 2 pick. Tessa Johnson to the line with under a minute to go in this 3rd. The UConn lead has swelled to 19. As Johnson hits the free throw, we check in with Holly.
I want to follow up what you're talking about UConn's defense and how good they are, but this is going to make WNBA GMs salivate. Sarah Strong, 90 steals and 65 blocks this season. No UConn player in history has more than 75 steals and 60 blocks in a season. And she's a freshman playing this level of defense. She got called for the foul there, but she has made such a huge impact. 90 and 65, guys.
And again, doing it today. 15 points, 14 rebounds, blocks, and steals for Strong. As the foul is called on Edwards, and that will be her 4th. So now Chloe Kitts will come and get the talented freshman Joyce Edwards. Edwards and Strong, the top 2 freshmen in the country. You throw Michaela Blakes in there as well. But Edwards and Strong actually good friends who grew up playing together since middle school. The AAU circuit, Team USA. Really connected to Joyce. Her school team got Joyce's once, but she said Joyce's teams usually won, as Strong gets her first breather of the day. What a performance from the freshman. 17 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists. Pow off on a 3. Raven Johnson couldn't hold the board. And a foul is going to be called on South Carolina on Tessa Johnson. She was trying to force the tie-up and gets whistled for the personal. And Dawn Staley frustrated with that one. And I think you could see Gina Cross saying, look at the foul count, which so far 14 personals called on Connecticut and 12 on South Carolina.
And it's right in front of the official. They tend to let a little bit more physicality go, like in the post, than they do out on the perimeter when it's so obvious.
20-point lead for UConn. Violet Palmer in the truck agrees with the call as well, our rules analyst. Here's Pow. 6 seconds left in the quarter. Pow spinning, taking, can't finish. Rebound Griffin, and that'll do it for the 3rd. UConn takes a 20-point lead.
ngắn ngắn mà tìm time